We have killed 2,000 babies since abortion became legal. Those are 2,000 people in the state of Nebraska that could be working and filling some of those positions that we have vacancies. They're not here. Our state population has not grown except by those foreigners who have moved here or refugees who have been placed here. Why is that? It's because we've killed 200,000 people. These are people we've killed.
Republicans are finally being honest about why they oppose abortion, and it has nothing to do with their so-called culture of life. As Nebraska State Senator Steve Erdman makes very clear, Republicans are mainly crying about how many potential workers America's losing every year. And Republicans are willing to overlook a lot in order to keep those red state jobs out of foreign hands. Because, let's be honest, it wouldn't be a real right-wing discussion without some kind of white replacement theory. Now voters are worried Republicans have overlooked too much, like how not all pregnancies are consensual.
And we've been in a state where, or a country where for 50 years, abortion has become normal, and phrases such as forcing women to be pregnant are used. No one's forcing anyone to be pregnant. Pregnant's a voluntary act between two consenting adults. We won't go into details. We're all adults here, and there may be some children here.
Okay, where to even start here? For one, many pregnancies are absolutely not consensual, and Nebraska's Steve Halloran says that pregnancy is a voluntary act between two consenting adults, in a state where the age of consent is just 16. And child marriage is still a common occurrence. According to research from advocacy group Unchained at Last, 97% of Nebraska child marriages are an underage girl marrying an adult man, and many adult survivors of child marriages have since come forward to describe pregnancies they didn't want and were unable to terminate. But who cares if in many cases children are subjected to unspeakable violations of their basic dignity? Nebraska needs workers, and they sure ain't gonna hire some foreigners to do the job. And as you probably know, this isn't just a Nebraska problem. Republicans want to take their abortion bans national.
We'll get something done where everyone is going to be very satisfied. I believe that.
On the national level,
I think we'll get it done on some level. It could be on different levels, but we're going to get it done. I know the issue very well. I think I know the issue better than most, and we will get that taken care of.
I would limit abortions to no more than 15 weeks would be the place I would start.
Yup. Republicans are doubling down on their anti-abortion agenda, even after that radical position on abortion cost them control of the Senate in last year's midterm elections. For the GOP, there's no turning back, and if Republicans win Congress and the White House next year, an abortion ban will be at the top of their priority list. And Republicans are rallying around one of the most extreme state-level proposals to serve as their blueprint for a national ban. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently signed a bill that bans abortion entirely after just 6 weeks, even though Florida doctors say that's a completely made-up line to draw. It's no coincidence that one of the GOP's most extreme reactionary candidates has a lot of praise for the police state Ron DeSantis is building down there in Florida.
Should it be for abortion?
Clear, you're of the same position that Ron DeSantis is then, based on the bill he signed last week in Florida. 6 weeks.
I think that that's a reasonable bill for him to have signed.
There's just one problem for Republicans, besides the whole violating half of the nation's human rights and all, and that's the fact that for Democrats, abortion is a winning issue, and it isn't even close. The latest polling shows support for legal abortion is now at its highest level in history. And more importantly, voters who learn about specific Republican abortion policies really don't like them. The GOP's extremism is firing up voters who hear about it, and those voters are taking their anger to the polls next year. What's critical now is that Democrats actually tell that story on the campaign trail. Fortunately, there are growing indications that, far from staying away from social issues as many expected, President Joe Biden will be leaning in. Biden has said he considers attacks on abortion to be attacks on freedom itself. That framing is about to become a huge part of Biden's presidential campaign message. With Republicans working to undermine abortion in the United States, Democrats will need to perform not just nationally, but in battleground states across America. The 2024 election is a referendum on defending our most basic freedom. That's easier said than done. And if you're in the mood for even more, check out this special report you don't want to miss. And as always, leave a comment below to let me know what I should cover next.